Hello guys, welcome back to class. So in this session, we'll continue the functions concept in Python. In the previous session, we started learning types of arguments as a last topic, right? From the types of arguments, we have seen the positional arguments or positional parameters. So in positional parameters, whenever you have two parameters, say for example, say hello, first parameter is the name, second parameter is the quotes. Whenever I'm calling, whatever first parameter I am passing, that will go, Srinivas will go to the name. And second parameter is Python, that will go to the quotes. So position as it is, it will pass to the parameters. So by mistake, if you pass Python as a first, if you take the second case, here I am passing Python as the first one. So Python will go as a first one. Python will sit in the name and Srinivas will go to the quotes. So position, however, it will pass. These are the positional and default we will use this. And also we have second type of arguments, named arguments or keyword arguments. Named or keyword. Positional, we are passing the value directly, but when you're using named or keyword, we can pass with the variable name, the argument name. Suppose here, argument is the name, argument is a course. So we can pass a value with the help of the key. That is, I'm saying course equals to Python, name equals to Srinivas. So you are clearly telling Python value should go to the quotes. Name variable value, the Srinivas should go to the name. This will go to, so order can be anything in this case. So sometimes when you have multiple, you need this. This is a keyword arguments. Next, default. Default arguments or default parameters. So sometimes you can fix the default values for the arguments. Suppose here, whenever you want to call this function, say hello, I have two arguments, name and quotes. For a quotes, I am specifying for quotes, I am specifying already AML. So whenever you call this, now mandatory is name and quotes is the optional. Am I right? Quotes is a optional. Default parameters, you can also call it as optional parameters. Can I say it as optional parameters? For example, can I call a function say hello like this? Can I call a say hello with 0 arguments? With 0 parameters, can I call? Can I call this with 0 parameters? No, because one is the mandatory. Name is the mandatory. And here, so I am passing a name. When I am passing a name, quotes I am not passing this, it is optional, right? So default parameters are optional. If you are not passing a value, whatever default value assigned here, that will be used. If you want to override the default value, you can pass it. Suppose I am passing, say hello, Srinivas, Python. So Python overrides the OVER, overrides the default value, right? So this has to give an error. This line will give a error. Let's just run this. Name error. Name say hello is not defined. Name say hello is not defined. So when you are learning the Python, when you are practicing the Python, another important is, as most of you are learning this first time, maybe some of you have already knowledge. So as you are learning first time, to expertise that whenever you are getting errors, you write down the errors, record all the errors in any book or any notes somewhere clearly. Reason why it is coming, what kind of name it is, name error, you'll find a name error, key error, value error, syntax error, different types of errors you will see. So those and error messages, reasons for that, all if you write down, so that commonly coming errors all you will be comfortable with. Okay. So it is giving error again because this function is not defined. Done. So I can pass still to override the default values. So I just given another function, show name, course, fee, and job equals to no. So I can use the combination also, right? Suppose I am saying show, I'm passing the values, SRI is the name, Python is the course, and a fee I'm not passing, and job value I'm not passing. So can I do this too? This gives the error because 3 mandatory in this, right? 3 are mandatory. Name, course, fee are the mandatory. 3 I am passing here. And job value I am not passing, so it takes as, still you can combine this. So SRI, I'm directly value I'm passing. If I am passing a value, then it is positional. First, that will go to the name only. Next, I am explicitly saying the named fee equals to 10,000. Order, now named means order can be anything. Course equals to Python. And default, I am not passing anything. So I am combining all in this. Positional, named, and default. All are there in this. All right. Next, when you are passing the positional and named both, in one function, can I use both positional and named? In one function, can I use both positional and named? In one function, can I use positional and named? See this now, I do call this call. In one function, can I pass both positional and named? Yes. No conditional, Nitesh. Directly you can pass it. See? Show. Condition means yes. There is a correct. How to, what is the condition? Positional arguments follow keyword arguments. Position arguments follow keyword arguments. Means which one first? Named must be the last. Correct. First positional, then named. Correct. So here you see, first I given a positional, then I given a named. Like this, we can combine and pass. And non-default arguments follow the default argument. Second rule is non-default follow the default arguments. Non-defaults are either positional or named called as a non-default. No default values. No default values for named and positional. So that should be first, and positional should be always the default should be always the next. So these 2 points you have to learn. Next, after this, another important is variable length arguments. For a function, I want to pass multiple values. This is a var args are variable arguments, variable number of arguments I want to pass. Any facility, yes, you can do that. In arguments, you can just use a star. If I am not using a star here, then I can pass one value. What is that value? The value can be anything, either one integer or a one floating or a one string or a 1 billion, 1 boolean, or one list also. It can be list also. It can be set also. It can be dictionary also. It can be a tuple also. Anything, one only you can pass. If you want multiple number, just use a star. And what is the type of this? Type is multiple you're passing, type is a tuple. Multiple will go as a tuple. And you can access tuple through iterator. You can use a loop to access this. Right? So I'm calling a show function, show nums function with 3 values. So now 3 values will go and sit in the tuple here. So 3 values you're passing here will go here as a tuple of 3. 10, 20, 30 as a tuple. Means tuple is a collection, right? A collection you are accessing here. Data type when I say tuple, and I am using just for loop to access any number of values you can pass. Any number of values, and any number same type or different types. Can I pass the different types also? Can I pass the different types also? Yes, because tuple can accept same types or different types also. Tuple can accept same types or different types. So anything you can pass. So I think next I am passing the numbers only here. Still you can pass anything. For example, I will use one string, okay, one floating point number, okay, maybe one boolean I'm passing, anything. All will go and sit in the tuple. Okay, I didn't define this function, so I didn't execute this. Done. Going as a tuple and getting all the values into this. Okay. So you can variable arguments and fixed arguments, right? Now two combinations, variable arguments and fixed arguments. Can I use both variable arguments and fixed arguments? Yes, you can use. And what is the order in this case? First is the fixed arguments. Later you can use a variable arguments. So name, one name and multiple marks of a student. Variable arguments must be the last. Variable arguments must be the last. So here I am just printing this. So I am passing Srinivas and two values here. Srinivas, and how many values I am passing? Second case, single value. One list as a single value. This is a tuple of single value. This is tuple of two values. And 5 marks I am passing. Yes, I can pass this. Even different types also we understand. I can pass different values also because it's a tuple, right? Can I use a variable arguments as a first one? No. We can't use that. Now, question from Ashwant. Can I use a multiple variable arguments? Can I use a multiple variable arguments? We can't use. Because it will confuse that to how many values you have to pass. Suppose if you are using some function as a show, star some A1, comma, star A2. If this is the case, when I am calling show with 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So how to differentiate which value should go to the first, which value should go to the next, right? So that generally we won't do that. Fine. Similarly, so individual values, if you want to pass the variable numbers, we can use this star syntax. So we have another advantage, another concept for the variable arguments. Star also we can use. When I use star, that is for a variable number of keyword arguments. You remember keyword arguments are the named arguments, right? Keyword arguments are the named arguments are nothing but a writing key comma value. Writing key comma value. Just arguments means values. Keyword arguments are a named arguments means writing the name value or a key value. So we can also do that. Suppose here I have a show info function. What is the parameter I'm passing? Star info. When you do this star info, it means it will accept key equals to value, comma, key equals to value. Multiple key values will be accepted by this. Multiple key values can be accepted by this. Any number you want, you can pass. So here I am calling show info with name equals to Srinivas, comma, course equals to AML. Again, I am calling show info with name equals to Srinivas and course equals to AML and city equals to Bangalore. So multiple key values you can pass into the function which takes star args. There's a keyword arg, variable number of keyword arguments. Single star means variable number of arguments. Single star, variable number of arguments. So here you can pass only the values, value 1, comma, value 2, comma, value 3, and so on. Star means variable number of keyword arguments. Keyword arguments or variable number of named arguments. Here the pattern is key equals to value, comma, key equals to value, comma, key equals to value, n number of key values can be passed. Now, when you pass the first one, you take this. Here, the multiple values you are passing will go to the function as a tuple. Am I right? And here, when you pass a key values multiple, this will go to the function as a dictionary. D-I-C-T, dict. It will go as a dictionary. It will go as a dictionary. So let's try to find the type of that first. So I'm going to function show info star. So inside this, indentation, I'm just changing. Print type of info I'm printing. Type of info I'm printing. Just another line extra. It should come as a dictionary, right? Okay. Now, dictionary access, the more syntaxes we'll study in dictionary more clearly. Dictionary has items. For example, when I'm calling here this function, name equals Srinivas and course equals to AML. In this dictionary, I am passing two keys and values, right? The syntax to define dictionary. Have you remembered syntax to define dictionary? What is the syntax to define dictionary? What is syntax to define dictionary, guys? Curly braces. No, I told one day, just I given a brief introduction, Dinesh. Just brief introduction given. List somewhere, I think. Only just the syntax is given sometime. Okay. Key. Name equals to Srinivas, comma, and course equals to AIML. Key equals to value, comma, key equals to value, close. This is a basic dictionary, yes. Okay. So, whenever you pass the keyword arguments here for this function, these two will go to the function as a dictionary, something like this. This dictionary will go. I am finding the type as dictionary. In this dictionary, we have items, right? Items. Yeah. Items. Okay. Items means all. This is the one item. This is one item. Multiple items you can get. Each item has a key and value, right? Each item has a key and value. Each item has a key and value. So I am unpacking the item into key comma value. For key comma value in the items, each key I am taking, each value I am taking and just printing it. Okay? Each key I am taking, each value I am taking and printing it. Print info also. Just define this function first. Call this. Yeah, Nitesh. Yes. It is not a question mark. Nitesh, is a colon. I just written wrong. This is actually a colon. Name colon value. Name colon value. Okay. So the type is dictionary. Name colon Srinivas, comma course colon AML, something like this. So I'm iterating this with for loop. Each item I'm taking items in that unpacking the key values, and this syntax is just basic. Now you just do for this house. Again, this is the dictionary we passed, name and values. Okay. You can call any functions on that. If you want, you can call a functions. Suppose key, I want to capitalize. Key is a string, right? Key is a string here. Any string function you want, you can call it. Suppose key dot. Anyway, there are so many functions that capitalize I'm calling. Key dot capitalize. Capitalize means each function, each character, first character will come as, see, name. The actual name we are passing as a name N small, quotes C small. This is the actual dictionary we passed. But while printing, I made the key as a capitalize. So from the map, I'm taking each entry, correct? I've taken the first one entry. This from map, getting the one entry or one item, expanding to its key and value, then printing the keys capitalized version and value as it is. Okay, still if you want to do some processing, yes, in the loop, you do that. That's different. So types of arguments clear, guys. All types of arguments, we have done it. So any questions on this? Can I move to the next topic? Very, very important, variable scopes. So all clear, right? Very good. Next. Variable scopes. Scope, I think all of you know, right? Scope represents where we can access this variable. You have a variable assigned with the value, and where we can access this, where we cannot access this. Scope determines where the variable can be accessed. Accessed means you access the value and use it, or maybe where you modify this, where it is accessible, where it is not accessible, that defines the scope. So Python mainly having two scopes, local scope and global scope. So currently we are not touching the object oriented concepts. Okay, Python is a object oriented programming language and also functional programming language. So you no need to write any objects classes. But you can just deal with only functional programming. You can define a functions wherever you want. The scope in the functional programming, functions especially. When you write a class, again the scopes will be different. If you define a variable in a class, that variable can be marked as a private, or it can be a public, it can be a protected, something like that. So those scopes, class related members scopes are different. Okay, this we are talking only the functional programming when you write without classes and all. This is the scope we are talking. So here we have two scopes, local scope and global scope. In a simple terms, variables declared inside a function are the local variables. Variables declared inside a function are called as local variables. Local variable scope is local scope, which is local to the function where it is defined. Similarly, variables declared outside the function are called as global variables. Variables declared outside the function are called as global variables. The scope is global. It means those global variables can be accessed throughout the code, including inside any function. Any function you can use it, but if not overridden. You have global variables you can override inside function itself. If you want to change in a specific function, yes. Let's do the so two scopes are two types of variables. What are two types of variables? Local variables, global variables, right? So now you see this lab one and tell me what do you understand from this? So what is your comment on lab one? Most of you have. My question is, A is a local or a global? At least I am asking a question. A is a local or global? We don't know. We don't know. We don't know. We don't know. No, you cannot answer as local or global, guys. We are using it directly, right? We are using it directly. That's what, see, you got it. Means the variable declared inside a function, the variable declared inside a function called as a local. That's how we define this. Variable declared inside a function is a local variable. Variable declared outside a function is a global variable. And this variable, where you declared, why are you saying local or global? How are you deciding it as a local or a global? Are you declaring, have you declared this variable A anywhere? Is this a declaration part? This is using, right? You are using. You are not declaring anywhere. Declaration means, especially we don't have anything. At least if you write the statement A equals to 10, or if no value, you say A equals to none. This is a declaration of variable. This is a declaration of variable. Have you done this? No. If you write this line, either A equals to 10 or A equals to something string or A equals to true, A equals to none in the case of no value, in that case, based on the location, you can decide it is inside a function, then it is a local, outside means it is a global. But I didn't do that. I didn't declare that. So we can't decide in this context, in the lab one, we can't decide whether A is a local or a global because you didn't declare it. You're directly using. Now you will get an error in this program. You will get an error in this lab, guys, saying the variable A is not found, name not found, right? See, name error, name error. Reason is name A is not defined. You didn't define the name A anywhere. Point is clear? Okay, let's clear this. Now, lab 2. Lab 2 you can say easily. Show. Inside show I declared this, right? Inside show I declared this. A is a local. Lab 2 is an example for local variables. A is declared or defined inside the show function. So clearly it is a local. And I'm using locally. Yes, I can use within the show function anywhere. You can use it. No problem. Then I'm calling a show. Yes, control will go to this. You are declaring a variable, assigning with 99. It prints as inside show, then print a value 99. After finishing the show, we have other piece of code here. Outside show. Can I access this outside show? Can I access this outside show? No, show is a local variable, can be accessed within the function only where it is defined. We can't access outside. So this line has to give an error for us, right? This line gives an error. I'll write this. Can I write the comments here, or when you're writing, when you're practicing, you write down that, okay? When you're practicing, you revise that points and write down. So lab 2 has to give an error, right? So this line is causing the, I'll put hash if you want, just hash function, hash. That is, at least when you're seeing this code, you will understand something is there in that, right? So local variable can't be accessed outside. Okay, this is clear. Next, see global variable. This is a global variable. This is our lab 3. This is an example of global. So what is A now here? A is A equals 99 declared outside of all the functions. So this is a global. Global means anywhere you can use, right? So I have a show one function. I can use inside the show one also. I have a show two function. I can use here also. Outside the show, outside these functions, outside show one and outside outside functions otherwise. because we have two functions, right? Yes, I can use outside functions also. So what is the flow of execution for this, guys? What is the flow of execution? Tell me. Which line executes first? Okay, wait. I'll give the numbering so that you can tell. This is the line number 1, line number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Now tell me which line for easy to tell now. First one, very good. Then 8, very good. These are the functions. From 2, this is the function. Only if you call, it will execute. Otherwise, it won't go to 1. After that, 8. Then 9. After 9 is a call of function. 9 means control has to go to function. Show 1. So after 9, it goes to 2, 3, and 4. 2, 3, 4. After finishing that, it will come back to 10. After 10, from 10, show 2 you're calling. Then it will go to 5, 6, 7. It will come back to 11. Okay? Very good. So, function calls are 2, 3, 4 and 5, 6, 7. Outside a function, what are there? Outside a function, we have these number 1, 8, 10, 9, 10, and 11. Okay? So, is it clear? Local variables, global variables, clear? Simple? Okay. Now, we have some important points about a global. We'll read these points again. Important points here only I am writing. So, you don't switch on the cameras, guys. Keshav. Lab 4. You see this, and what I'm trying to do, we have a problem in this piece of code. We have some problem in this piece of code. And I think it looks for me initially say everything fine, but can you try to identify what is going on in this? So if you see the code, A is a global, am I right? A is a global variable, okay. I am calling the function show. Inside this, printing inside show. Can I access a global variable inside? Can I access a global variable inside this? Can I access a global variable inside a function? Yes. What should be the A value? A value as 99. Then I am saying A equals to JLC. A equals to JLC. Then printing A. What is A? A value JLC, correct. Is this you are changing the global variable value from 99 to JLC? Or that's what? Anil, are you changing the global variable value? Are you overriding a global variable value or making the new local? Two questions, right? How can you say that? See, outside this A, you guess the output of this A, guys. Guess the output of this A. So two possibilities for this, am I right? Two possibilities. It can be 99 or it can be JLC. 99 or JLC. So if 99, what is the conclusion? If JLC, what is the conclusion? Or I think somebody is writing here if it is this A is considered as a local, somebody is telling we can't make the local variable, global variable name as same. I think generally local variable, global variable name can be same. Local variable, global variable name can be same. Okay, that point will come back. If outside 99 is coming, what it means? If it is outside 99 is coming, then it is making a new local variable. Am I right? A equals to JLC, making a new local variable. A equals to JLC, making a new local variable. Or if you are seeing outside as a JLC, it means A equals to JLC is overriding the global variable. Correct? Two possibilities of this program. Let's do what happens. Execute this. Read the error carefully, guys. Cannot access local variable A where it is not associated with a value. Where it is not associated. Unbound local error. Remember this, very important. Unbound local error. Cannot access a local variable A where it is not associated with the value. So what happened? What happened, guys? That is the problem here. What happened is this is considered as a local. This is considered as A equals to JLC is considered as a local variable. Okay. Considered as a local variable. And local variable value, I am printing it. But before that, you are using A before the local variable definition. Can I use a variable? Can I use a local variable A before defining it? Can I use a local variable A before defining it? It is, remember, it is not using the global also, but still we have a global A. It is not using global. So the local completely hiding the global. When a local is there, it completely hides the global. So you are declaring a global, you are declaring a local in this. This line is okay. Suppose if I comment this line, see what happens. I am commenting this line here, guys. Now any problem? No problem. Now run this. See, when I call a show, printing inside show, and I have a local variable here, guys. See, local variable A equals to JLC, printing the local variable A, JLC will be displayed. So inside show JLC. Once function is over, coming out of function, I am printing A. This is my global variable, I am printing here. This much clear? What's the problem here, guys? This local variable you are using, this local variable you are using before axing. But yes, Saujanya, that is the next point we have to study. So now the point is, but if I use the same name always, if I use same name always, Shankar Dayal, if you comment A equals to JLC, that is our previous example. Global we have seen. See this? Lab 3, you see? I have a global variable. I am using global variable A in the show 1. I am using global variable A in show 2. You use the value. When you try to assign a value to the global variable, it won't accept. Come back here. I just given another problem to see. So I am calling, I have a simple increment function. One realistic example I've taken. I have a counter, count equals to 0. When you want to make the count equals to 0, suppose whenever I call a increment function, increment, I have increment function is there. Some scenario, suppose some record is inserted in the database. Whenever record inserted, I want to increase the count. Or maybe you can take, suppose user sessions. Users are coming online. Whenever new user has logged into system, I want to increase session count to 2. So to increase session count, what I am doing? Just I am count equals to count plus 1. Right? Now, what is the count here, guys? This example you see carefully. What is the count? Is it a global? Global. So what I am doing, I am modifying the global variable, right? When you want to modify the global variable, you cannot do like this. It looks like this code looks like simple. I am calling increment function 5 times. For I in a range of 1 to 6. 1 to 6, 5 times it will call. Means count has to be increased to 5. After finishing count, finally I want to say print final count is plus the count, because anyway global variable. I am modifying the global variable inside a function. That is the problem. You see, it is giving an error here. Unbound local error, just what we have seen above. What is the problem in this place? What is the problem in this, guys? Read this error. Unbound local variable means very good. See, it is whenever you try to change a global variable, it is considering immediately as a local. It is immediately considering the count as a local. It is immediately considering the count as a local. And it is telling boss, where is the value for a count? You are using the count variable without value associated with this. But my intention is, I don't want it as a local. I want it as a global only. If it is a global only, my count will increase, right? When user 1 has logged into application, my count will increase 1. If I want to maintain the count value +1 to 100 count, that should be a global. This is a special context where you use the global keyword. See about this, global keyword. Understand this? A global keyword is used inside a function. Global keyword is used inside a function to refer a variable declared in the global scope. By default, if you assign a value to a variable inside a function, Python assumes that as a local variable. This is important point. Point is clear. If you want to assign a value to a variable inside a function, that will be considered as a local variable immediately. Suppose a equals to JLC, considered as a local. Count equals to count plus 1, considered as a local. Count equals to count plus 1. It's nothing but a count equals to count plus 1, right? Count equals to count plus 1. So count is considered as a local, right? You are doing operation on this, but where is the count variable value? Not there. That's what we are getting error. Here, A is considered as a local. You are printing A local. You are printing here, but value is not there. That's what we got error. So what to do? Solution. If you want to modify the global variable within the function, it must be declared as global. Did you get a solution, guys? If you want to modify the global, means here JLC, I don't want to consider JLC as a local. It should be A value should be global only. But I am changing the global value from 99 to JLC. If that is the use case I want, A must be declared as global. Come back to this point. So global keyword purpose is clear, guys. Come to lab 6 using global keyword. So def show, I have A, which is a global. A equals to global only A. Now, you say that inside this show function, first you tell that, my dear function show, A is a global. A is a global. Don't consider as a local, even if I assign a value also. What happens if this global A line is not there? This line is not there, then A equals to JLC. When you assign a value to any variable, it will be considered as local. Yeah, Alok, you should not assign a value like this. You should not do this. This gives the error. In the global declaration, you should only just declare like this. Say only declaration global A. That is a valid syntax. So what you're telling to function? My dear function, show A is a global variable. Please remember this. Okay. Then print inside show. Inside show will be printed. Print A. A is a global, right? Already we told global A. So it will print A equals 99. A equals to JLC. It will change the global variable A to A currently having the value 99, right? Now printing A value 99 printed. A equals JLC. This global variable A will be changed to JLC. 99 will go, JLC comes. When I print A, global A printed. So JLC will be printed. Now outside show, what is the A value? What is the global variable value? Global variable value is now changed by the function to JLC. It has to print as JLC. Is this clear? Global keyword purpose is clear, guys? Okay. Sanjit question is, where I have to keep this? Can I keep anywhere or can I keep in the beginning only? I'm changing like this. Before using this, your A you are using, right? Before using, yeah, before using it, correct. May not be a first line. May not be a first line, Sivashagar. May not be a first line. Anywhere you can use it. No problem. Okay. Before you started using your global variable. Fine. Now come to our count variable. See, first increment, you make the count. You make the count. Count as a global. Then do the increment. So when you say increment equals to count plus 1, it will consider, oh, count is a global variable whose value already 0 is there. We'll increase that value by 1. Now I am calling increment 5 times. Run this. See, first time I am increasing the count, printing it. Then again increase to 2, print it. 3, print it. 4, print it. 5, print it. Once a function calls over, 5 times I am calling increment. Then the final count is the global variables. So this is use case where we must use the global variables. Global keyword must be used. Remember, if you want to change the global variables inside a function, then inside a function, you must declare that variable as a global. Then only can consider as a global. Otherwise, it will consider as local. Okay. Yeah, Purushottam has one question. I'll come back to that, Purushottam. Just 1 minute. Okay. Next. When using global variable, another point to remember is you can't assign a value to the global variable like this. See line number 8. I'm using a global variable. Okay. We can't assign a value like this. You should have a global somewhere beginning, and value assignment is not possible. Remember that. Invalid syntax. Why invalid syntax? In the global declaration, you should write only global A. Assignment is not possible in the case of declaring global variables. Point is clear? Okay. Next. See, you no need to make the global also. In this case, are you seeing any global? Are you seeing any global variable declared outside a function? Are you seeing any global variable declared outside a function? We don't have a global variable outside a function. Means this is the first indication we are telling as A is a global. But value we can't assign to this. Remember, value we can't assign to this. Later I am assigning A equals to 12 or A equals 99 like previous example. Print A, which is printing 99. Then A equals JLC, print JLC, show. Can I use A outside function? Can I use A outside a function? Yes, because A is a global. A is a global. But A is a global which is not declared outside the functions. Generally, we declare a global variable outside a function, we use anywhere. But first time, you can also introduce the global in a particular function also, but with a global. Okay, I'll take another variable, Sagar, in that case. I'll take my variable as name. Okay, name equals to, yeah, generally you may get a doubt as, because we are doing like this, name, print name, print name, print name. Okay. Fine. Now we'll go to the question of Purushottam has asked one question. Lab 10. Multiple global variables. So I have A equals to 10, B equals to 20, C equals to 30. I have a multiple global variables. Okay. Sanjit, I'll include your question also. So after def show, I have a show function. Inside show, printing A equals to okay. Show begin. Show end. Inside that, now ABC are a global or not? ABC are a global variables or not, guys? ABC are a global only. But I didn't declare the variables as a global here. Is that fine? I didn't use a global keyword here. I didn't use a global keyword. Is that okay? I didn't use a global keyword here. Is that okay? Ah, Dinesh, you are right. Ah, Shankar, you are right. You no need to use the global keyword if you are not changing the values. If you are not changing the values of global variables in the function, no need to use a global. If you want to just read it as just access the values, yes, fine. When to go for a global, you are changing the values here. A equals to 99, B equals to 88, C equals to 77. Now what happens? It gives the, what happens? You have a local set, right? A is another local variable, B another local variable, C another local variable. Three local variables are declared. All three local I am printing. Show end. Whenever show end, the local variable scope is gone. When I come out of the function outside show ABC, when I print, it is accessing global ABC done also. But I want to say, boss, don't make these variables as local. I want it as a global. What to do? Global A, B, C. global ABC. I'm doing like this. This statement may not be the first statement, but at least. Now see guys. Okay. Yeah, I think Purushottam's doubt is clear. That is clear. I think Nitesh or somebody, your question, I missed it. Is that covered here in this example? Sanjit, after def show another function, we need to again declare it as a global. Okay, this question, yes, I'll add this. So I'm making this as a show one. Fine. I have a show one function. I have a show two. Show two. This is show one begin, show one end. Show two begin, show two end. What happens? Is it required? Sanjit asking, is it required to make it as a global here also? What is your answer, guys? In show 2, I am not making that as global. What happens now? Again, same story, right? Run this program. So here I have to call the show 1, then show 2. This will change with the values. Yeah. We'll change the values, otherwise we won't understand it. This I am taking as 100, 200, 300. Two different use cases. Two different use cases. Do you understand two different use cases? I have a global variable a equals to 10. Okay. I have a function show 1. I have a function show 2. Show 1. Show 1 has to modify this global only. Show 1 has to modify this global. Then here you make it as a global A. Then if you say A equals to 99, the show 1 is modifying the global only. Show 2. Show 2 should not modify the global. Show 2 should have its own local. When you say A equals to 99, A equals to 100, it is making as a local only, right? If you want to modify both the functions has to modify global, then you declare these variables as a global and the show 2. Wherever you want to modify, make it as a global, guys. Simple. If you won't call a show 1, no need to call a show 1. Comment the show 1 call. Now what is the flow, guys? I have a global variables a equals to 10, b equals to 20, c equals 30. Then I am calling a show 2. It will go to show 2. This is a local, right? I am declaring show 2 has a local variables. Local variables will be displayed. That's it. Now, outside ABC, global only it will print. See, again, if you remove the global assignment, you can't use this line causes the error. You can take out because here we declared as a global, right? Yes, you can do that. But function call, if you are not doing, then global will not be declared. Sanjit, you got the point? If you are not calling a show 1, then it won't make it as a global, right? Suppose I'm commenting this line. Fine. Now, show 1 we are declaring as global. If I'm not calling a show 1, it won't make it as a global. Now this line, what happens this line, tell me? Will it give error? You see this code, will it give error or not? I think it might be taking the previous globals. Directly show, yeah, in the previous scope, these are there, guys. I think it is taking that. I'll change this to x comma y comma z. Because in this notebook we have others, right? That's what you have to check carefully, guys. You don't conclude fastly. Okay. Fine. So now we didn't declare any global variables. This is also for the sake, I'll just keep as, or I'll change to another lab. A will take, okay. So I'm not calling the show here. Show one here. So we got error in this line. Do you understand the error in this line? Why it is telling guys x is not defined. We got error one name error, x is not defined, or y, z not defined. Why those are not defined? Even you are not declaring as a global here, fine. And also show one, at least if you call it show one, it makes a global. Now can I release the call to show one? Yes, make the call to show one. When I make a call to show one, then it is making the global XYZ. It runs successfully. In show one, I have a global variable, x equals 99, y equals to 88, z equals 77. I'm printing that. Then coming to show two, it is a local only. Show two, it is a local only. Show two is not touching the global. Show two has its own copies of local x, y, z. Done. When I come out outside all the functions, x, y, z is the global only, it is x equals 100 is a local to show 2. X equals 99 is a global. Is that clear, everybody? Okay, guys, I think all are clear. This, so global is clear, right? Global keyword usage. Next. There is another non-local keyword. Before non-local keyword, let's understand this example. We can have a nested functions also. Nested function is nested function or inner function, easiness. You can write a function definition inside a function also. You can write a function definition inside a function also. For example, show. This is a show function. Inside a show, how many statements are there? There are statements. In this, x equals to something. There is a function display. You see, function definition is a part of your. Inside a show function, what I have? There is a variable x equals to local. One function definition display is there, and calling a display here only, and printing inside show something like this. Clear? Inside a show function, I have a function display. Now we need to understand we need to understand x equals to global. What kind of variable x is now? What kind of variable x is now? This is a global variable, right? This is a global variable. Fine. Now x equals to local. What is this? This is a local variable. X equals to local. Is this a local or global? This is a local only, right? This is a local to show. This is a local to show. Local to show. Local to show. Again, another function display. So here inner function is inner or a nested function is display. Display is the nested function and show is the nesting function or outer function. Show is the outer function and display is the inner function. Show is the nesting function, display is the nested function. Okay. Now x equals to non-local. I am saying non-local because x is now local to display. X is now local to display. X is now local to display. Right? What is the scope of x? Can I use the x equals to non-local value inside a show? Inside a show, if I say x, what will be accessed? Inside a show, if I use x, which will display the value local only. Inside a display, if I say x, it will display always the non-local. And outside all the functions, if I say x, that displays the global. Three different scopes you're seeing here. Is that clear? Inside display, x value is non-local. Inside show, x value is local. Outside show, outside all the functions, x is a global. So how many times is memory allocated for x now? Three times, very good. X equals to, x got a memory whose value global, that is outside all the functions. In a show, x is the local. In display, it has its own copy of local, which is non-local. I am making this. Up to this clear? No confusion? Okay, done. Purushottam question is, can I call display outside? Display is a nested inner function. Okay, let's make a call. It is indirectly saying, suppose I'll do one more thing, Purushottam. A equals to 1, 2, 3. What is A here? Tell me. What is A here? Tell me, guys. Local variable, right? And display also local function. Display also local function. Can I say display A? These are local. Display A are local to show. Let's do it. You will see. Right? Why it is doing A? I think it is printing something else. A. I'll use some because in our scope we declared so many variables. We declared so many variables. Okay, this we will test in other context. I'll show you with different names. I'll take and show it. Take out that point. Okay, because we have so much. Fine. Yeah. So now we have a global variable x. We have a global variable x whose value is global. We have a local variable x which is local to show function separately. We have a local variable x separately to display also, whose value is non-local. Okay. Now, this code and above code, there is a one small change if you observe. What is the small change you see in this code? That is the topic of this. This line. In display, what I am saying, in display, what I am saying, in display, I am saying X is non-local. X is non-local. It means I am telling, if this line is not there, what is happening, guys? If this line is not there, what is happening? It is considering X as its own local. I'm telling boss, don't consider X as a local to this. X is a non-local of display. X is a non-local of display. X is non-local of display. Shankar Dayal. X I'm telling non-local of display. Now by seeing this, what do you understand? Tell me. How many copies of memory will be allocated for this? 2 copies only. Very good. 2 copies only, because X again another copy will not come to local display, right? Display will not get another copy here, guys. So what happens? You come to first, when you start running this program, first X global, okay, X memory allocated as a global value outside the functions. Then you're calling a show, you're getting X local. X means another, for a show variable, X becomes the local. Yes. Display, I am beginning telling that X is not a local. Then it won't allocate separate memory for the X as a local for display. When I assign X equals non-local, it will change the value of show. This only will be changed to non-local. Then inside display, X value is non-local. Call the display function here. I'm calling display. Done it. Inside the show, X is same only, right? Display and show having a single copy. Come out of that, global having a different copy. So non-local purpose is clear. Non-local purpose is clear. If you don't want to make local copies to the nested functions, you ought to use this. Read the points now. What is the use of non-local keyword? Non-local keyword is used inside the nested functions. Where it is used? Non-local should be used inside the nested functions. And global keyword inside the functions. Non-local should be used inside the function to refer a non-local, non-global variables. That is non-local, non-global variables. Non-local, non-global. It allows you to modify a variable from outer function, but not the global scope. Remember, it is not the global X. It is only from variable from show within the inner function. So if you want to modify outer function variables inside the inner function, then non-local. Global is, if you want to modify the global variable inside a function, mark it as a global. If you want to modify the outer function show variable inside inner function display, declare it as non-local. Is this clear, guys? Non-local is clear? So this is the lab 10 and this is the lab 11 and this is the lab 12. Okay. Shankar Dayal is asking, how many nested ways? Your wish. There is no limit. Theoretically, no limit. You can do any number of nestings. Means inside a show, you write a display. Inside display, you define another show 1, show 2. Any number of nested levels allowed theoretically, and no limit on this. You can do any number. You can test 10 levels also in nested. You can nest it. Shankar. Now I'll add one more lab on this, lab 12. Yeah, non-local works in any level, Sanjit. Any level, non-local works. You decide it just two ways. For example, yeah, show is there, display nested, right? The variable, you want to make a separate copy for a display, you want to use separately, directly use as a local. You don't want separate, you want to use the outer function variable only, then make it as non-local. Okay. And just add one more lab on this. So I'm not doing so much on this. I changed the function names as we have confusion on this. Okay. So I have my show function, guys. My show begin. Inside that, again, I'm defining function my display inside my display. Just I'm writing this. Okay. Then inside my display, just multiple lines, just writing a multiple lines inside my display. Then print my show, and my function is the my show I'm calling. So there is an error if you observe. Def it is my display is a nested function. Am I right? My display is a nested function or inner function. My show is a nesting function or outer function. We have an error on this. This is also take out first. I'm not calling any functions. Indentation, huh? Why indent? Oh, right, guys. This is indentation, bro. Now you call the my show. No variables, just only the scopes I'm checking. So I'm calling my show and my show begin, my show end, and outside my show. Now my question is why it is not displaying the inside? Why it is not displaying inside my display? My display is not called. Okay. I'm calling my display now. I'm calling my display, guys. Oh my God. I have variable P. Printing a variable P also. Print variable P. P is a P is in a scope called local. Am I right? Yes. P is not defined. Local variables cannot be accessed outside the function. P is a local variable, we can't use outside the function. Next, my show is a regular function. Display is a inner function inside. We can't use that outside function. You have to call this. Where can I use P? Where can I use P, guys? P is a local variable, must be used inside the my show function only. Next, my display is a inner function, must be used inside, must be called inside my show only. Very good. It must be called inside my show only. Must be called inside my show only. Here, my display over. If you want P, you do here. Allowed inside a function. You want to call my display, here you call it. My display I'm calling here. Outside, this line anyway gives error commenting. This line gives error commenting. Okay, guys, now I think you're done with all. I just taken another real world example with a, this is the lab number 12 over, this is lab 13. And we have a lab 14. We'll see this in the next session, guys. It is not X, it is P. Correct. Yeah. So this local, global, some important. We need it sometimes. Sometimes we need a local variable, sometimes we need a global variables. I've taken a session counter example to track the session call. Suppose one user having a session started. In one session, how many calls he is making? Another user is logged in. How many calls or requests he is making? So separate count I want to make. Total sessions, how many? Each session, how many calls you're making? So this kind of, we want some variables, right? That's what I just implemented some real world example to make this. We will do this in the next session, guys. Now let's take a break and come back. We'll do this in the next session.